I mean, he was pissed. He was beside himself. And I don't think he played much after that. And I don't think it was punitive. I think it was, we can't get this guy's head back in the game. Like, he's so dragged down by this fumble. Like, he's just not ready to go back in. And we saw Justice Hill when the Ravens were making things happen eventually after that, not Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I mean, they were thinking, I think what everyone was thinking at home, you're like, how could they put him back in the game? Like, the way he tried to slam his helmet and fell, and then every time they kept cutting to the sideline, it was like him talking to a coach, and I was wondering, like, what are they talking about? It's a fumble. Aiden Hutchinson came back, retraced his steps, came back into the play, and just punched the ball out. Like, it wasn't like something crazy to keep discussing, but they kept showing that. I'm like, I don't think Derrick Henry is going to be able to mentally be back in this game and produce. So they did a good job of getting Justice Hill in there and letting him play. But it was also a reminder of, like, why have we stopped seeing Justice Hill? They had a good thing with him playing and showing up. Felt like he didn't really show up that much in the game other than at the end, and good job by him because he was ready to go, made some plays. But that had been something that we saw a lot, I think, last year, the year before, but not much this year. But, yeah, you can't explain. I think the tough thing for Derrick Henry is as you get older and as a back, no matter what happens, people will attribute anything that's not positive to your age. And he's been unbelievable with ball security throughout his whole career. But early in this season, 3 games, 3 fumbles, like, you cannot win that way.
Well, and I mean, from his perspective, you know, he's bracing for first contact. He has no reason to think someone's behind him because he's not thinking Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, maybe at some level he should have not dismissed the possibility that he's going to swing back around and try to punch the ball out. But, you know, he's getting ready for contact, and the last thing he's probably thinking at the time is somebody's going to come from behind me here. I'm still behind the line of scrimmage. Nobody's going to hit me from behind and try to knock out the ball. But, you know, Devin, it's one of those subtle little things as a player gets older. We've seen it, I think, with Travis Kelce, the way he explained the bobble last week that became an interception. I've made that play a million times. Yeah, but, you know, every time you make it, you're older than every other time you've ever made it. And there is a point. It's the Lawrence Taylor thing. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you. Chris and I talk about it from time to time. Lawrence Taylor one year went up to Bill Parcells during training camp and he said, man, these guys are all getting fast. These guys are fast. It's like, nope, Lawrence, you're getting slow. Yeah. And for the guy that was always the star, you know, Derrick Henry, it's like, what's going on here? What's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. You're just getting older. And you can't continue to do indefinitely. At some point between now and the age of 70, you're not going to be able to do the things you now do. And it's going to go gradually. It's not going to go all at once. And it could be something like that where, you know, he doesn't feel that same confidence in those moments that we used to see because it's just a little bit. And the younger guys coming into the league, they haven't lost that little bit, that little tiny bit that accounts for the ball getting punched out. And maybe you're not as focused on holding it because you're more focused on the guy coming to you. Whatever the case may be, he seemed, as you said, to overreact to that moment because it really wasn't his fault. You get the ball punched out. He had it tucked in there. It wasn't like he was holding it like Walter Payton used to. So that was kind of the moment where it's like, uh-oh. But you're right. They held him to a field goal. Here's Derrick Henry. Let's watch his demeanor. Let's hear it. Let's see. Short week. Can they get it together by Sunday? Derrick Henry after fumbling and losing a fumble in each of the first 3 games of the season.
It's just crazy, man. 3 fumbles straight. You know, trying every day to fix a problem. It just keeps occurring. So, I'm trying to work on it, man. I'm my worst critic, so you know, I'm not gonna try to beat myself up too much, but it's hard not to when, you know, it's consecutive and consistent and me doing the same thing. I just got to be brilliant and go back to work. I said I apologize to teammates, coaches, Partner Nation, just pray for you, bro. A little adversity, bro. Adversity is a terrible thing your way, so it's going to keep going.
I always respect in a moment like that when a player stands in front of cameras and microphones and provides a very raw and exposed and real reaction. But as I'm watching him, he's just disgusted with himself. And they're going to need to work on him today. The same way they were working on him last night. They got to get his mind right. 5 days from now, they're in Kansas City. And they can't have him worrying about, and I don't know if they got to switch the Tiki Barber high and tight. I don't know if it's if it's mechanical, because he's holding the ball in the conventional way. And I remember when Tiki Barber had fumbling issues, Tom Coughlin had him do that high and tight, and they all stopped. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's just bad luck. But this guy is soul searching, and he's upset, and they've got to get it turned around quickly, Devin.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a day. You got 24 hours. I like his energy right now. Like, I don't want him to be thinking like, hey, I'm gonna be no. Like, he's crushed and it's okay. But you got a day, and then we got to move on and we got to focus on how we beat the Chiefs. And I think one of the biggest things is he has to see just where that elbow is. That was something we used to talk about as a defense. When that elbow's low, it might look like you have the ball and you're in good shape. But when it's low, that means there's not a ton of pressure on it. And you talked about Tiki Barber. It was all about ball high and tight, because when it was high, that means the elbow was higher up and you had it and you were able to protect it better. So for a long time, that ball wasn't really punched because Henry held it tight and because it was too hard to tackle him. And when you're able to get guys around him, as you see in all of those plays, it's not one-on-one situations. It's all about, oh my goodness, and in Cleveland, he's on his way down. Somebody's already got him. Now I can come and punch the ball out from behind. And Joe Judge used to always have a saying, it's not about the guys you see, gentlemen, it's about the guys you don't see. And for Henry, other than the Buffalo play, it's the guys he doesn't see. And I think he's going to have to work on what that looks like, watching the situation and figuring out, all right, the guys in front of me, they know they got a tough job to try to tackle me. But how do I make sure I'm protecting the ball for the guys behind? Because for right now, that ball's exposed. Guys behind when you're going to the ground. So he's just got to go, and I think he has to have a game where he doesn't fumble. But that's going to be hard now because every team knows it's in his mind, and we got to attack the ball. And I think there's going to be coaches, they're going to be okay missing a few tackles if it applies more pressure on the football for Derrick Henry.
So help me understand then, what's he have to do differently? What are you seeing? You see that elbow low. I mean, I assume he's not going to do the full-blown twist that we had with Tiki Barber, but what's he got to do with the ball to with his elbow to better secure the ball?
I think right now, using my handy keyboard right here, I think we got to see the ball more here. That elbow's up, it's high. When that elbow starts to drop here, it feels like you have the ball and you're good, but that over-the-top punch straight on the ball, it gets it, because when the elbow's low, it gets a little bit away from the body. When it's nice and high and tight, it's here. There's nowhere to punch. So he can't run like this all the time, but I think it's going to be a little bit more protection when he's in the middle of that and he's in the line and you can't see guys, to get it. It has an emphasis, getting it a little high and tight, even if it means a few less yards and you don't feel as comfortable. I think until he gets that confidence and that mental confidence back, we might see him just put a little bit more emphasis on keeping it high and tight.
So it's kind of like a twist on the old, switch the ball to the outside arm. So if it gets hit, it goes out of bounds. You got to have that instinct kick in. There are going to be certain moments where you're just protecting the ball a little bit better. As you break for the line on a zone read play where there's a chance the guy that ran past you is going to swing back around. You just have to have greater awareness in those moments. Like you said, I mean, Tiki Barber was it got to the point where it was ridiculous. It was all the time he's holding it like that. And, we see guys, they'll cover up the ball as they get closer to a high collision area. But, easier said than done because a lot's going on. And the reality is, every day he wakes up, he's one day older than he's ever been, and he's got a lot of guys out there that are younger than him. And even though he's an all-time great modern-day Jim Brown, at some point it's not going to be the same as it used to be. And let's just continue to monitor and see if he can turn it around as the Ravens get ready to go face the Chiefs in what will be a very impactful game, especially for the team that loses it. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.